All right, so the officer's got a Whipple case. Come on down. Huh? Yeah. I got the officer here for position 1, position 3, position 4, 5, and then this one, number 9. All right. Do me a favor, can you tap on that microphone, make sure it's working? Excellent. Do you raise your right hand? You swear affirm testimony you're about to give is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes, I do.
All right, so this is 22 CP 214599, 136 days without indictment. Marcus Matthew Whipple. Theft by receiving stolen property, theft by receiving property stolen in another state, possession of Schedule 4 controlled substance, possession of Schedule 2 controlled substance, identity theft, fraud when using, possessing, identifying info concerning a person, drugs not in individual container, willful obstruction, and possession of drug-related objects. You want to state your name and spell it for the court reporter, please?
Officer Richard Walker, RICHARD WALKER.
All right, go ahead, Kevin.
Your Honor, can I have one quick moment, please?
Sure.
My apologies, Your Honor. Okay. Officer Walker, where are you employed?
Union City Police Department.
And were you employed with them on December the 10th, 2022?
Yes, I was.
And how did you become aware of Marcus Matthew Whipple?
We received an alert of a stolen vehicle traveling down Jonesboro Road, located it at the Quick Trip, right in the middle of Union City. It was surrounded by 4 guys. When we made contact with them, 2 of them ran on foot, and Mr. Whipple was one of them. We identified him after a short foot chase, and he had his ID on him.
Okay. You have warrant for theft by receiving stolen property. What was the basis for that warrant?
The U-Haul was reported stolen out of.
You said the U-Haul. Which U-Haul? Can you give us a little background in regards to the U-Haul?
Say again?
The U-Haul. You said the U-Haul. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The U-Haul was reported stolen at that time.
Okay. And did you get in contact with the U-Haul company?
No, I did not.
Okay. And was Mr. Whipple inside the U-Haul?
When we made contact with him, no, but we found other property in the car belonging to him.
And what was found inside the U-Haul?
A book bag,
And what was inside the book bag?
Adderall pills, a stolen gun, and there was also Adderall pills recovered from his person.
Okay. And let's go in regards to the Adderall pills. Was it in a prescription bottle?
No, it was in an unmarked prescription bottle.
And were you able to determine if Mr. Whipple had a prescription for the Adderall pills?
No, I did not.
You have a warrant for possession of a Schedule II and a Schedule IV controlled substance. What was the basis for that warrant?
For the Adderall without a prescription and the full bottle of promethazine.
Where was the bottle of promethazine?
If I can, I know it was in the center console area. I couldn't remember if it was in a book bag or not.
And how was the promethazine packaged?
It was in a bottle, regular bottle labeled promethazine.
Did it have was a name on it as a prescription for any individual?
No, there was not.
Was you able to determine if Mr. Whipple had a prescription for the promethazine?
No, it was not.
You said he had Adderall pills in his pocket. How many Adderall pills did he have on him?
4 pills.
Were they the same pills that were in the bag?
Yes.
You said it was a stolen gun. What was the basis for that assumption?
The gun was a security guard firearm, and it was reported stolen out of Miami, Florida.
Was the gun loaded?
I can't recall.
Was you able to determine if Mr. Whipple had permission to have the gun?
No, I did not.
There is a warrant for identity theft, fraud when using, possessing, identifying info concerning a person. What was the basis for that warrant?
From the multiple book bags in the van and throughout the van, we recovered 54 driver's licenses.
And the 54 driver's licenses, was they for 54 different people?
Yes.
Was you able to determine if Mr. Whipple had any permission to have the licenses of the individuals?
No, I did not.
When you arrived on the scene, were you in a marked police car?
Yes, I was.
When you arrived on the scene, were you wearing a police uniform?
Yes, I was.
When you saw the individuals, when you arrived on the scene, did you announce yourself?
Yes, we did.
And once you announce yourself, what words did you use?
I can't recall, but we were blue lights, sirens, and in uniform, and 2 people still decide to run on foot.
You have a warrant for possession and use of drug-related objects. What was the basis for that warrant?
We found a digital scale inside the vehicle.
And where was the digital scale?
I can't recall.
What is your training in regards to illegal drugs?
No official training. I identified the pills using online sources.
And what is the procedure once illegal drugs are seized by Union City Police?
They go into our evidence room and our evidence manager will send it off to GBI to be tested.
And was that done in this case?
Not to my knowledge.
Was the drugs taken to the evidence room?
Yes.
Using your knowledge, training, and experience, how were you able to determine that the scale was used in regards to drugs?
Based off the pills and the other controlled substance in the vehicle.
Where was the vehicle at when it was stopped and you approached it?
In the Quick Trip parking lot.
And what is the address for that?
4745 Jonesboro Road,
What county is it in?
Fulton County.
Were you post certified during this investigation?
Yes, I was.
How were you alerted that the U-Haul vehicle was stolen?
The tag readers.
Did you speak to Mr. Whipple during this investigation?
Yes, I did.
And what did you learn after speaking with him?
Mr. Whipple was read his Miranda rights after he was in custody, and he stated he did not wish to talk to us.
Did you speak to any other males that was at the U-Haul?
Yes,
And did they speak with you?
yes. They were given voluntary statements prior to being read their Miranda rights as well, at what time they did not wish to talk to us further.
Can you describe the U-Haul? Was it a truck, short box truck? Was it a van? What was the size of it?
It was a van.
It was a van. And when you arrived on the scene, where was Mr. Whipple in proximity to the van?
At the back door.
At the back door. Back left or back right?
If I can recall, the passenger side, but at the back door of the vehicle.
Where was the bag inside the van?
In the front center console where the seats are.
Did you do an inventory search on the van?
Yes.
And did you recover any documentation in regards to the rightful user of the van?
No, there was not a rental agreement in the van.
Did Mr. Whipple provide a rental agreement?
No.
Did Mr. Whipple provide you? Did Mr. Whipple provide any information in regards to being the rightful user of the van?
No, he did not.
Did he provide any information in regards to the gun?
No, he did not.
Did Mr. Whipple provide any prescriptions and as for the Adderall?
No, he did not.
Did he provide any prescription for was it Finnegan? What was the liquid?
Promethazine.
Did he provide any documentation for that?
No, he did not.
Do you see DeMarcus Matthew Whipple in the courtroom at this time?
Yes, I do.
Can you please describe an article of clothing that he is wearing?
A white t-shirt with a blue shirt on top of it.
May the court recognize he has positively identified the defendant?
All right, noted.
When you arrived on the scene, how far away from the van, how far, when you was able to catch up with them, how far away was it from the van?
When we first made contact,
Yes.
3 feet.
3 feet. Were you the only officer on the scene when you first arrived?
No, I was not.
What was the other officer's name?
Officer Lewis and Sergeant McKeithen.
And were they driving a marked police vehicle?
Yes, they were.
Were they in police uniforms?
Yes.
No further questions at this time.
All right, Cross.
Hi, good morning. Could you spell the name of Officer McKeithen for me?
McKeithan.
All right, thank you. And who was the primary officer on the scene?
I was.
Okay. And do you know if Officers Lewis and McKeithen had their body cams on?
Not to my knowledge, but it is our policy to have them activated.
All right. And was your body cam on at this time?
Yes, it was.
And was your vehicle's dash cam on?
We're not equipped with dash cams.
Okay. So you said that a stolen vehicle alert came from a tag reader.
Yes.
Where was that tag reader located?
On the side of the road, and on Jonesboro Road coming off the interstate.
And approximately how far from that is that from the incident location?
Roughly half a mile.
Okay. And what's the timeline between the tag reader getting a hit and you approaching the vehicle?
2 minutes.
And when you approached the truck, or the van, excuse me, you stated there were 4 men around it,
Yes.
and that you stated Mr. Whipple was in the back door area on the passenger side, so like the back right?
Yes.
All right. And the bag with holding the Adderall, the gun, and an unmarked bottle of promethazine was in the front center console.
Yes.
How did you attach ID the book bag as Mr. Whipple's?
From the Adderall recovered in his pocket and the Adderall in the book bag.
Did anyone else on the scene when searched have Adderall?
No.
Did you ever at any time see Mr. Whipple inside the truck? Or van, excuse me?
No, I did not.
And was the book bag within Mr. Whipple's reach?
At that time, no.
When he was searched, did Mr. Whipple have keys to the U-Haul?
No, he did not.
Did he ever claim that he was in possession of the driver of the U-Haul?
No, he did not.
Were any of the driver's licenses found within the vehicle located on Mr. Whipple's person?
Not that I can recall.
Were any of the driver's licenses fingerprinted?
Not to my knowledge.
And was the stolen weapon searched for fingerprints?
Not to my knowledge.
Regarding the Adderall, was any testing done on site?
No.
And you stated that you have little to no training on medications, correct? And drugs?
That's correct.
Then how are you able to identify as Adderall?
The online pill identifier and by the markings on the pills.
Can you describe the markings?
Off the top of my head, I can't recall.
Right. Do you know which online pill identifier you used?
Not to my knowledge.
Do you know if it was a government website or like a private website?
It was a public website.
Right. And do you have access to databases of prescriptions that are filled in Georgia?
No, I do not.
All right, no further questions.
Anything on redirect?
Nothing on redirect, Your Honor.
All right. Anything else for this officer?
Nothing else for this officer.
All
For
right,
me,
thank
Your
you,
Honor.
officer. Stay safe out there. All right, go ahead with argument.
Yes, Your Honor. This seems to be a classic case of overcharging someone who was nearby a stolen vehicle, but nothing actually indicates that he had anything to do with the stolen vehicle, the stolen weapon, the drugs or driver's license within the vehicle. It was testified that nothing was in his reach from where he was at the back passenger side of the vehicle, while the book bag was in the front part. There was Adderall on his person, according to the officer, and Adderall in the book bag in the front, but he could have easily have bought that from whoever's bag that was, as had it himself. Adderall is prescription medication, and he is unable to verify if he had a prescription or not. And if he did have a prescription, it is legal for him to carry Adderall for his prescription. Nothing on the weapon. There was no fingerprints on the weapons or the driver's license that they searched for that attached it to him. He never touched the items in there or was within arm's reach of the items in there. He didn't have any possession of the vehicle. He didn't have the keys to the vehicle, didn't claim ownership of the vehicle, wasn't near the driver's side of the vehicle. And the officer testified that regarding the willful obstruction of law enforcement officers, that he met Mr. Whipple 3 feet from the van. So that does not sound like running from the officer to me, and obstruction. So I would request the dismissal of all these charges.
All right, go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor. When the officer arrived, they actually did arrive in marked police vehicles. They actually got out and they were actually uniformed police officers. They were alerted to this vehicle because of the license plate reader, and they responded to the area at that time. Once they responded, the defendant did run at that time. The officer was able to identify the defendant in the bag and associate him with the bag because he had the exact same pills in his pocket that was in the bag, Your Honor. Your Honor, also in the bag was the stolen gun. Also within arm's reach was the promethazine, and also in the bag was additional Adderall pills that match the pills in his pocket, Your Honor. The association between the two pills being the same in his pocket that is in the bag associates him with the bag, Your Honor. And also, he did not have the pills in the proper container in his pocket. The officers did approach. They did with blue lights on, with sirens on, in uniform. And at that time, once they saw the officers, They did run at that time. They did have a scale, and officers was able to determine that the scale is used in regards to drugs and drug-related, was a drug-related object because of the different drugs they did have in their possession. He was in and around and right at the back door of the actual U-Haul van. And then upon seeing officers, that's when he ran. That is placing him in a knowing position. And the running shows that he was aware that the actual van was stolen at that time, Your Honor. And he had 54 different cards within the van that was in his direct arm reach of the van, Your Honor. Ask that you find probable cause for all charges.
Anything else, Mr. Law?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, all right, I'll find probable cause on or all charges. I just addressed bond, I think it was last night, right, Mr. Law?
Yes,
I
you
don't know
did.
if you want me to try to,
I doubt it would change.
okay, all right. Okay, doke, thank you, sir. So you still have a $54,000 split bond with the possession of drug-related objects as the UJR through the jail. Best of luck to you, sir.
Your Honor, I have an announcement in regards to position 7 with Mr. Lau being here. Position 7, Andre Blanks. Our case intake reached out to me, said they are in the process of declining that case. It has actually been signed. It hasn't been signed and filed, but they have already reviewed it and they have decided to decline the case at this time, Your Honor. We do not have a filed and signed copy, but I did get in contact with our case intake division this morning. Just for the benefit of and respect for the council, I don't mind doing like a 2-week reset, just so we could put it here, just to make sure that it's actually done, but it has not been completed as of yet.
All right, do you want to bring your client out and tell him?
Yeah, we can reset it and have him come out to let him know.
All right, so that's Andre Blanks. You were here second. Which one was yours? So we got the officer here on one of the JB Brown. Oh, well, Mr. Rhodes isn't here. Mr. Rhodes isn't here. The public defender's not here. Let's see.
Judge, would you like me to text Mr. Rhodes?
Oh, what's
Have you
that?
heard from him?
No,
Okay, I'll text him.
okay.
And I'll go through it again for the defendant, Your Honor.
All right, so this is 22 CP 214345, Andre Blanks, 147 days without indictment, possession of firearm by a convicted felon, pedestrian in roadway, and willful obstruction misdemeanor. Go ahead, Mr.
Yes,
McCullough.
Your Honor. I spoke with, or my case intake division, reached out to me and informed me that this case will be declined. It has not been declined as of yet, but they are working on the paperwork. We just need a signature. Once that signature is received, at that time, it will be filed with the court. I am asking for a just a short reset, just to make sure that all the paperwork is done. I'm not sure when it will be completed, but they are in a process of working on declining the cases at this time.
Mr. Long.
Yes, a 2-week reset would be fine to ensure that the paperwork is finished. And just in case it does not have a prelim set up.
All right, Ms. Watts. That's fine.
That should be fine.
All right. Well, hopefully if it's
Yeah.
gonna be declined for
Exactly.
for Mr. Blank's, gratification, I'm sure he doesn't want to wait 2 weeks for it declined to be prosecuted. I'm sure he would like that done as soon as possible, or else he's got another 2 weeks sitting here on a case that you don't plan to prosecute. Thank you.
And I'm gonna try to get it done as soon as possible, Your Honor. I just was notified this morning.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Pinto, did you get in touch with him?
I texted him, Judge. I haven't heard back. Have we addressed position 8 yet?
Position number 8, Your Honor, a decline to prosecute was filed on 4/19/23.
There you go. Good
Yes,
job, Ms. Pinto.
I had so much to do with it, Judge. Could we bring, is Mr. Crocker, was he brought over or no?
Yeah, can we bring him out real quick? All right, this is 22 CP 214367, 217 days without indictment. This is charged theft by shoplifting. Bernard Crocker. Mr. Crocker, Ms. Pinto is on the screen. If you can see her here, go ahead, Mr. McCauley.
Yes, Your Honor. The Fulton County District Attorney's Office decided to decline to prosecute this case has decided to decline to prosecute, and that was filed on 4/19/23.
Is there another case that's holding him, Ms. Pinto?
No, so Mr. Crocker, that means this case is gonna be, is dismissed, okay? But you're still waiting, excuse me. You're still waiting to get picked up by Richmond County. They have a hold on you. So they should be picking you up soon. Okay?
Need to respond verbally, sir. Do you understand? Do you understand what she's saying? So they're dismissing this case in Fulton County, but Richmond County and Augusta is supposed to come and pick you up on a hold.
Yeah, parole.
Okay, yeah, so that's what Ms. Pinto said, is there's, but you're just waiting for Richmond County to come and pick you up. Okay? All right, thank you, sir.
All right, good luck, Mr. Crocker. Judge, that concludes my business. May I be excused?
Sure. Yeah, thanks for checking on Mr. Rhodes.
I'll
What
have
about-
him reach out to you, Judge.
All right, what about, Ms. Smith? Where'd she go? Oh, okay. What's that? Well, since Mr. Rhodes isn't here, because we're gonna take this officer.
Which person name is that?
This one's JB Brown. If Mr. Rhodes gets here.
Your Honor, for JB Brown, Officer Eason for position number 2 is not here. So
Right.
we're in contact with him right now. He should be, my investigator is reaching out to him right now.
You want me to call him?
Huh?
I have his number. I can call him.
He said he can call him. Do you
Yeah, I can
want-
call him, see if he.
Sure.
Yeah, you can step out there because Mr. Rhodes isn't here. And then Ms. Smith. Okay,
But Your Honor, we're ready, Javon Smith.
well, we don't have any public defenders here besides Mr. Lyle. What about Davina Thomas, the officer on that one, position 6?
Yes, and also, Mr. Lau, Your Honor, she is no longer with APD, and they just let us know. I asked for a short reset in regards to that case to see if we can actually get her or get somebody else on.
All right, well, when you say short, that must mean that if you don't know where she's at. So what does short mean?
Short means 2 weeks, Your Honor, and what I will do is with this reset, I will let my investigator know now, and we'll start working on it now.
All right,
It's
Uh,
position number 6.
6, Davina Barber. You got Miss Barber out up here?
Well, she hasn't got him yet, now.
Okay, you still want to go ahead and handle it, Mr. Law?
Yeah,
Okay, all right, it's 22 CP 214172, 155 days without indictment on aggravated assault. Go ahead, Mr. McCauley.
Yes, Your Honor. At this time, our office was notified that the officer is no longer with the agency. We will be reaching out to see if we can have personal service done on Officer Adrian Jordan. If personal service is not a possibility, then we will go ahead and we will subpoena a different officer. I'm asking for a short reset to allow us some time to go ahead for that process.
Ms. Watts?
May 9th at 9 a.m.
Okay.
Mr. Lau?
I of course object to reset. If they don't have a witness, they don't have a witness, and they can't prosecute. But I understand if there is a reset in 2
Okay,
weeks.
we'll give the one reset May 9th. Is that date good for you, Mr. Lau?
Yes.
All right, at 9 a.m. for officer. One reset only. Think that clears you up, doesn't it, Mr. Lau?
Yes, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Yes, thank you. All right, so we don't have anything else for Mr. Rhodes, so sorry, officer, now we got to go with these other cases here. What about,
Ms. Smith is here. We can go with
let's
position
see that.
number-
How about we go with position 4, because that officer is here.
Yep,
How about, no females are here?
position number 5, Your Honor.
All right, what about Justin Young?
He's not here either from the city.
Who's here? Anybody, I think that's, well, so we're waiting on Mr. JB Brown's here, I bet, but we're waiting on Mr. Rhodes. Frank Greco's here, but we're waiting on Mr. Rhodes. Female, and then neither of Miss Smith's cases are here.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. All right, let me step off real quick.
Okay, we'll be down to get him. But here's this guy here.
Okay.
Do you have your warrants? Do you have your paperwork?
Oh,
You know, okay.
Not really.
Ms. Watts, it seems like I need to be passing you some paperwork, or I need to be doing something. Is there anything I'm supposed to be doing? Because I did give you that decline, remember? You did receive it. Remember that was last Friday, I believe? Yeah. I just want to make sure. I think that was the last thing, but I think I put it in your hand. Just wanted to make.
No, he was missing one. So he was gonna bring on Monday. He was there, I was remote. Okay. It's in my notes. He would have probably been Wednesday. I found out which one it is.
Okay, because I had looked and I thought I had it at some point.
It was one, you asked me to bring it tomorrow, yesterday, I said yes. It's not next week, it's not, let me look at the calendar.
No, it's good. I'll go upstairs and I'll take a look.
I have all of it right here. Look like it's serious. This is fine. But I do have one from yesterday, babies.
Do I need to sign?
You already did.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, there's nobody in court, so I don't know. No idea, because there's nobody in our office. Well, that's when it'll be heard. That's when it'll be heard Friday. Yeah. I mean, that's the day it would be heard, period. All of it will be heard. Yeah. So the emergency will be heard Friday too. Yeah, because there's nothing that's. Well, since it's already on there, they're not gonna, yeah. Mhm. No, I bet he said free. I bet he said free. That's my case. Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I will. I'm under the screen. I got two more. Okay, bye. Okay.
So I guess we could take this Anika.
Judge, I haven't been able to get in touch with Mr. Rhodes. I don't know if he's at the jail. Are the officers on his cases present?
Uh-huh,
They are?
uh-huh.
Okay. Well, I can review them and then,
So it's position 1 and position 2. It's the same. Well, what happened to the officer in position 2?
In position 2, Your Honor, the officer is in a approved training that is from the 24th through the 28th.
So last time there was an FTA.
Yes, Your Honor.
So now what are we gonna do? Because, I mean, I guess they revoked his bond because he cut off his ankle monitor. But, so what are we gonna do?
this is the second time the officer hasn't,
So the first time was the FTA, now the officer's in training. But he's got a $7,500 good bond as of the 14th of April. So you tell me what you want to do, Mr. McCauley, because
Your Honor, and I understand in regards to the first reset of the officer not showing, he did not have an approved training at that time or an approved leave at that time, Your Honor. But this training has been verified by our office and it has been approved, Your Honor. And I understand that this is the second reset and we will, and I understand that the court will make the final decision. What I will say is, if this is reset, technically from our standpoint, it is because, the first one, the officer did not show up. And that is truly, that did happen, but this time he has a rationale as to why he is not here.
yeah, do you want to go ahead and bring up,
Justin.
wait, which one do you want? You want Justin or you want the female? Okay, is that, Corpus, Anika? Okay, you can bring her up. Go ahead.
So that's, I understand the court has hard and fast rules in regards to not showing up. But I will say that this time the officer is in an approved training, according to our office, and we will ask for a reset because of the approved training. The first time we did not.
First time was the FTA, I understand. Ms. Pinto, I mean, I know you're just kind of winging it for Mr. Rhodes.
right, Judge? Well, I mean, yeah, this is the second time the officer hasn't shown. I understand that there's a reason this time. I wonder if that reason existed when the case was set or when the officer was originally subpoenaed. Regardless of the reasons, Mr. Brown is still being held. He's been held 182 days, Judge. And regardless of their reasoning, the state still hasn't been able to show probable cause in a preliminary hearing. So I would ask the court to dismiss.
So we can give one final reset. I mean, I really don't know what the protocol should be, because somehow there should be a little bit more of a time. I mean, Ms. Watts is preparing the calendars in between so that somebody can say, hey, they're in training, and let you know in advance until sheriff's office loads them up, brings them over here. We get an officer off whatever they're doing, bring them here. And then we get here and say, well, and we get the PD, we get them here, we get you here, when this could be 3 other cases that could have been on the calendar to keep them moving along. We'll give one last reset. This officer talked to him. Do you know, is he going to be busy on May 9th?
The officer did reach out. He actually didn't make contact with him, but he did call him and he did text him. What I will do right now is I will reach out to my office to see if May 9th is a good date for that officer.
Did they ask the officer if he had dates or something?
They did not.
So you're gonna, let me ask you, okay, not being mean, okay, so you're gonna reach out to your office and ask them, they're not gonna know, they're gonna try to reach out to him who's in training, who's not gonna respond, so, but we're here and we gotta have a date.
Yes, Your Honor.
So I mean, I'm just saying that,
How about this, Your Honor? The May 9th date, we can go forward with the May 9th date, and what we will do is, between now and May 9th, we will be reaching out to the officer.
Here. All right, what time is, what?
9 a.m.
So the other case is May 9th at 9 a.m. I mean, yeah, May 9th at 9 a.m. But yes, so there's one. The other case, Ms. Pinto, is the theft by receiving stolen property. Do you want that CP number?
I see, it's position 1,
Yes, ma'am.
okay. And that officer is present?
That officer is present, and there's also a president on position 3, the Frank Greco.
Okay. Okay, I can review those, Judge, and cover for Mr. Rhodes. Although I am confused because it looks like only position 2 is holding Mr. Brown in jail, and then there's an FTA. Is that,
Okay, so position 1, I don't show where he's made that bond. That was reset because this officer was in training before. So this one, he's got position 1, he has a $3,500 good bond. And the one said due to an FTA on position 2, that was because the officer didn't show up.
right? So, but when I look in the jailing screen, it's only listing the case ending in 3460 is holding him.
Let's see. So do you show where he's made bond on the first one?
No, so I'm
Well,
not quite sure
he
what
got a
that-
bond, he got a bond on the 14th for $7,500 on position 2. Because when the officer didn't show, I reset it, but I went ahead and addressed bond.
Okay. Okay, so position 1 and position 3 are going forward.
Right, position 1 and position 3.
Okay, I'll be ready for those.
Okay, thank you. All right, so, Officer and Anika Corpus, so let her get done and we'll take care of that. Okay? All right, this is 22 CP 213884 Anika Corpus, 166 days without indictment, BGCSA possession, purchase, control of controlled substance schedule 1 or 2. Officer, can you raise your right hand? You swear affirm testimony you're about to give is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do.
Can you mind stating your name and spelling your name for a court reporter?
It's David McNamara, DAVID McNamara.
All right, and as of November the 11th, there is a $15,000 good bond, so we'll address that too, Ms. Smith. Go ahead, Mr. McCauley.
Yes. Is it officer or detective?
Sergeant,
Sergeant, excuse me. Sergeant McNamara, where are you currently employed?
Roswell Police Department.
And were you employed with them on April the 12th, 2022?
Yes, sir, I was.
And how did you become aware of Anika Corpus?
I conducted a traffic stop on a vehicle that she was the backseat passenger in.
And when you conducted that traffic stop, what happened next?
I originally saw the vehicle leaving Studio 6 Hotel, which is our high crime drug area. Miss Corpus and the driver, Mamie Armstrong, have a long history in the city for drug use and sales. I pulled them over. The vehicle didn't have insurance and the registration was suspended while I was conducting my checks on everything. K9 arrived on scene, alerted to the vehicle, searched the vehicle, located drugs inside the vehicle, and had a female officer come search all the occupants, including Miss Corpus.
And when she searched Miss Corpus, what did she find anything on her?
Yes, she located a small piece of tinfoil that had a powder substance in it that Miss Corpus said was heroin. Through my training experience, I believe it was heroin also.
And can you please discuss your training?
Been in law enforcement for 25 years, have made over 1,000 arrests for drugs, numerous drug identification classes, including the DEA drug identification class, 80 hours. I've been probably 15 out of my 25 years on crime suppression and narcotic units.
And was there anything that was specific about the substance that made you believe that it was heroin?
Just that it was one that she said it was, and then looking at it was a powder substance which appeared to be heroin.
Do you see Ms. Corpus in the courtroom?
Yes, sir.
And can you please describe an article of clothing she is wearing?
Blue or black shirt with a gray or white sweatshirt underneath it.
And the court recognized that has positively identified the defendant.
Noted.
What was where was the vehicle stopped at?
The corner of Warsaw Road and Holcomb Bridge Road in the city of Roswell, Fulton County.
Were you post certified at this time?
Yes, sir.
Was any drugs found inside the vehicle?
Yes, sir.
What was found inside the vehicle?
2 pills of MDMA.
Where was Ms. Corpus sitting inside the vehicle?
Back seat.
On the driver's side or the passenger side?
Passenger side.
Where were the 2 MDMA pills?
They were located in a purse that belonged to the driver.
How much did the heroin weigh?
With the tinfoil, it was, I believe, 0.11 grams.
What is the procedure when illegal drugs are seized during an investigation?
We collect them, I field test them, and then I place them in evidence.
Was the heroin field tested?
Yes, sir, it was.
And what was the results of the test?
Presumptive positive for heroin.
And was it sent off?
That I don't know.
Was it sent to evidence?
Yes, sir, it was placed in evidence.
No further questions at this time, Your Honor.
All right, Cross.
I'll stand up there so you can see me. Good morning.
Morning.
Was the conversation between you and Ms. Corpus recorded
Yes.
and via body camera?
Yes, ma'am.
And was that conversation or footage preserved as evidence?
Yes, it should be.
Okay, what time did you make the traffic stop?
11:30.
This
That's
was
what.
PM, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And between that time, how long did it take for the K9 to arrive at the scene?
I don't have that with me.
Is it custom for a K9 unit to arrive at traffic stops?
Depends on the traffic stop.
And what type of traffic stop was this exactly?
They left a high drug area. They're both known for drugs. But through my training experience in dealing with the subject, I believe that they could have narcotics on them. And while I was conducting my no insurance investigation, the dog arrived unseen.
So the K9 did an open air sniff of the vehicle, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And then he received a positive alert.
And that's what the handler told me, yes.
And then you searched the car?
Yes, ma'am.
There were no other contraband aside from the pills that were found inside of the car, correct?
Not that I can recall.
Okay, so while Miss Corpus was standing outside of the car, she was searched by a female officer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and who was that female officer?
Officer Sabirsky. She doesn't work with our department anymore, though.
Okay, can you spell her name for the record?
It's in my report. I would have to look at it. I don't know it offhand. It's Siberski. I believe she works for the Johns Creek Police Department now.
Okay, and to your knowledge, during the search, was Officer Sabirsky wearing a body cam?
Yes,
Okay. And to your knowledge, do you know if it was working properly?
it should have been, yes.
Okay. So after the substance was found, was Miss Corpus arrested?
No, she was not.
Was the driver of the car, Miss Armstrong, arrested?
No, not at that time.
And this incident occurred in April of 2022, correct?
That is correct.
On what date did Miss Corpus get arrested for this offense?
I don't know. I don't know it offhand.
Is it not in the report?
No,
But
I didn't arrest her, so.
Is there a reason that you didn't arrest Miss Corpus at the scene after the drugs were found?
She was supposed to give information.
Objection, Your Honor. At this time, it appears that it may possibly be another investigation, and this goes beyond the scope of this preliminary hearing at this time.
I'm not entirely sure how this would be beyond the scope of this preliminary hearing, being that we're talking about the arrest of Miss Corpus and how she was arrested. Also, she was let go at the scene of the incident, so we will need that information as to why she was let go when she was allegedly was in possession of drugs.
Your Honor, it is my belief that it is additional investigations that are going on currently. And with those additional investigations, the defense is asking questions that may give confidential information that is not readily available.
Would it put anybody in danger?
It will put the community at large at danger, and also the investigation that is going on right now may be compromised.
Okay. Yeah, just move on to another question.
Yes, Your Honor. So, when was the warrant for Miss Corpus initiated?
I don't know the actual date. I don't have that with the warrant actually with me, so I don't have the date. I obtained it.
You asking when it was issued?
Yes.
Oh. Do you have a copy of the warrant? Mr.
I
McCullough.
think it should have been.
I think he has one if you want to.
If you don't, I have it. No. And may I approach so that
Sure, absolutely.
you can see?
In Your Honor, at this time, I request that the officer be allowed time to review the warrant fully before questions are asked.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
So when was the warrant issued?
November 9th, 22 at 2:47 a.m.
And you weren't on the scene when Ms. Corpus was arrested?
No.
Okay, no further questions, Your Honor.
Redirect.
No redirect at this time, Your Honor. I ask that the officer be relieved and allowed to leave.
Yeah, stay safe out there. All right, argument,
I defer to the,
Ms. Smith.
Your Honor, we are requesting a dismissal for the charged offense. Ms. Corpus is being charged with having possession of a controlled substance. And in this case, the officer, sergeant, sergeant stated that Ms. Corpus, she had in possession a 0.11 grams of alleged heroin in her possession. However, she was not arrested during that time. Apparently there must have been an exchange for something. We're not too sure about that. However, we know that she was not arrested whatsoever for having suspected illegal drugs on her person. There wasn't a warrant issued until several months later, for this same incident. And so we're requesting for this case to be dismissed for lack of probable cause, just based on the fact that there was no arrest whatsoever that was made during this time. And you would think that if someone actually had some type of illegal drugs on their person, then they would be arrested during that time, Your Honor.
Mr. McCauley.
yes, Your Honor, I'm not at liberty to discuss the actual ongoing investigation at the time, but if there is nothing that says that somebody who have drugs or who commits a crime must be arrested in that exact moment, must be arrested in that exact time. The agreement that she may have or may not have had with the police department was agreement between them and her at the time. However, the officer did testify that she did have drugs. She did admit that it was heroin. It was field tested at the time that it was heroin, and it was on her actual person, Your Honor. Looking at the fact that she wasn't arrested at the time does not, probable cause is not based on when a person was arrested. It's based on the elements of the crime, based on was enough information provided at the time, and based on the witness testimony. I believe that there is more than enough testimony to proceed in regards to the charges, Your Honor, and I ask that you find probable cause for the charge before the court.
So if I'm probable cause on this count, there's a $15,000 good bond as of November the 11th. I'm assuming you want to address bond, Ms. Smith?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Preach. Rah.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Is a multi-state offender. She has 17 arrest cycles out of Georgia, 1 out of Texas, 1 out of Nevada, 3 out of New York, and 20 out of California. Let's see. 6 violations of probation out of Georgia, 4 FTAs out of Georgia. One felony conviction for possession of methamphetamine with intent to distribute out of Cherokee County. Disposition date on that is August 2022. The 1 cycle out of Texas, no misdemeanor felony convictions on that one. 1 cycle out of Nevada. She has a felony arrest for possession of methamphetamine from November 2011, but no disposition was listed on there. The 20 cycles out of California. She has, looks like one felony conviction outside of the 10-year period and 2 FTAs. Nothing to add, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Smith?
Miss Corpus, she is 44 years old. She is from California. However, she has been in the area for approximately 10 years. She does have a good address on file, which is the 4867 Ashford Dunwoody Road address. She is a high school graduate. She also attended Paul Mitchell Trade School in San Francisco for cosmetology. She has been working as an esthetician for the past 6 years. She was working for LNY in Alpharetta. Presumably, she would be able to go back to that job if she were to be released. Ms. Corpus has been in continuous custody and without indictment for 166 days. She does currently have that $15,000 bond. This is not a violent offense. There was less than 1 gram of alleged heroin found. We are requesting that Ms. Corpus's bond be reduced significantly to not exceed $5,000 in this case, Your Honor.
And that's not in Fulton County, I don't think, is it?
Oh, the address?
Yeah, where she lives.
Yes, it is. No,
No, it's not. It's in DeKalb.
All right, go ahead, Mr. McCauley.
Yes, Your Honor. I'd just like to alert the court to 4 FTAs and then also an additional 2 FTAs. She also have a intent to distribute from August 2022, Your Honor. We are concerned that the public and the safety of the public with drug sales, drug consumption, what happens in regards to drug consumption to get the finances to fund the actual consumption. We are concerned in regards to public property that is often associated with illegal drug use, Your Honor. And as the officer did testify, he is known and aware of the defendant for a while. So she is known to the officers in that community for her drug use and possibly even drug sales, Your Honor. We would defer to the court in regards to the amount of bond.
All right. Ma'am, I don't know if you have children, but you have somebody that loved you somewhere.
Yes.
You got to get a hold of yourself. This is what happened, ma'am, because
I know.
you're lucky that you're not dead. Stay away from 9955 Old Dogwood Road. No further contact with, I guess it's Mamie, Mamie Armstrong, or Dolores Crawford. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol.
If I may, my apologies, but Miss Armstrong, she actually lives at their address. They're roommates. They rent this place out together.
And so is the state.
I object to them being together, Your Honor. It's drugs on both people at the same time, Your Honor. I don't think that would be in the public's best interest for 2 people arrested with drugs on them in their possession should be residing at the same home, Your Honor.
Do we know if she has?
They actually were not arrested together. Miss Mamie Armstrong, she's not her co-defendant.
Your Honor, all 3 were in the vehicle at the same time, Your Honor.
So,
and yet they're not co-defendants.
let's see. Was she arrested that day? I haven't even seen anything.
No, she was not, Your Honor.
2 out of 3 had drugs on or near their person, Your Honor.
Well, I
she
mean,
was-
Miss Armstrong wasn't arrested, so
Yes, Your
you
Honor.
can remove Miss Armstrong from there. But if this is one of your, if Miss Armstrong is a you problem, you need to get rid of Miss Armstrong. You need to do something else. All right? No drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. You can have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, employment. And speak with your lawyer. Employment, as long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment schedule, and the exact location you're going to be working. Stay out of Fulton County unless you're here for court or to see your lawyers or employment in Fulton County.
Yes, it is. It's an Alpharetta.
All right, so if for your employment, but you have to let the ankle monitoring company know and Ms. Smith know when you plan on coming to Fulton County, even if it's for work. Hint, don't just say I've got a job and then leave your job and say you're going to work, because the state gets a copy and the printout of the ankle monitoring company monthly. So if you're somewhere you shouldn't be going, then you need to let them know. All right, and also if you're going to work or something like that, you can stop off somewhere, Kroger, wherever, get groceries and go home, but don't go a mile off, don't go more than a mile off course. That means, don't go over in front of the mall, start, or Roswell or something like that, all right? 166 days. $8,000 good bond. Best of luck to you, ma'am. If there's any holds, because there's active probations, you'll have 48 hours to have that ankle monitor placed on your ankle. All right, so Ms. Pinto, you gonna be ready for Mr. Brown?
I am, Judge, and I was looking, position 3 has something filed under seal. I'm not sure if the court received any communication from Attorney Rhodes about it. I'm happy to do the preliminary hearing. However, if we haven't gotten that back, I just, I don't know.
I'd say probably not, because that's probably the motion, right, in February?
That's right. That's my guess, the motion and the order.
I haven't gotten anything back, so.
Yeah, and I guess if we don't know.
Do you want to, because if we reset it, then we keep bringing the officer back. You just want Mr. Rhodes to file another motion or get in touch with Ms. Watts to get it put back on whenever he wants it put back on? You think?
I mean, I know I did one in March that already came back. So it might be that he already has it back and we just don't know what the results are.
Yeah.
So I would prefer to go ahead and reset it, because I mean, I'm looking at the warrants and I honestly cannot believe that he was charged with arson in the first. So I would like to go ahead and reset it and then have Mr. Rhodes reach out to the court if it needs to be taken off the calendar.
Okay. How long do you think? I think May 9th is probably getting packed.
I'm sorry?
I think May 9th, but I guess we're doing the other on May 9th. Officer, May 9th at 9 a.m. Is that good for you?
Yeah, I might be able to wait that drop some school, but that should be fine.
Wait a minute, I'm sorry, that's the wrong thing. Case I look at JB Brown. Hold on, we're gonna do his. I'm sorry. This one is arson, sir. So is the May the 9th, May 9th good for you at 9 a.m.?
Yes.
Okay, so we can reset it for May 9th at 9 a.m., right?
Yes.
Is there a day for like Thursday or Friday?
Hold on 1 second, Miss Pinto.
Okay.
Or the next week if they don't have it that week.
We can do May 9th at 9 a.m.
But you said a Thursday or a Friday. Oh, it's a Tuesday, isn't it?
I see the T.
Oh, yeah.
So we can do, the 13th.
Saturday?
I'm sorry, I got two cameras up at the same time. I'm sorry.
May 11th. Is that good? May 11th at 9 a.m.?
May 11th, okay.
9 a.m., right?
Yes.
Yeah. May 11th at 9 a.m. It's a Thursday.
Okay, I will let him know.
All right, do you want us to bring Mr. Greco out here?
We can try, Judge.
Okay. That was the next part, but we can try to bring Mr. Greco out here, see how it goes. We're just gonna tell him his is reset for Mr. Rhodes.
Your Honor, at this time, I ask that the officer be allowed to leave at this time.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anything come up, just let me know, okay? Thank you, sir.
See you May 11th. So we'll get Mr. Brown out here as soon as we tell Mr. Greco. All right, this is Frank Greco, 22 CP 213807, 169 days without indictment, is charged with arson in the first degree. Mr. Greco, Ms. Pinto is sitting in for Mr. Rhodes, and he's, I think we're waiting on a couple of documents to come back, so we're going to reset this to May 9th at 11 a.m.
May 11th, Judge.
May 11th at 9 a.m.
Okay, wonderful. Question for you. I have some paperwork I'd like to enter to the courthouse myself.
So, Mr. Greco, since you have an attorney, anything you file is not viable, I guess is the word.
We really don't look at it unless the attorney adopts it.
Oh, okay. Well, I filed a lawsuit myself through the courts.
Oh, I don't know about a lawsuit. I'm talking about it in this case.
Okay, wonderful. In this case.
Yeah, if you file something.
I filed habeas corpus through the court.
That's
I
the
have that
thing.
paperwork here with me now.
So you have a lawyer. So when you have a lawyer, when you file something on your own, it's really not looked at by the court unless the lawyer
So,
adopts it.
Just so we know,
Just so we do. What?
I fired my lawyer.
No, your public defender, Mr. Rhodes, hasn't been.
Here, is he?
He's at another courtroom.
That's not my problem. So.
Hold on, sir. Okay.
You know what?
Fix,
Guess
no,
what? Guess
no,
what?
stop.
Yeah,
Fix your
that's the
tone.
fuck I thought. Go fuck yourself.
Whoa, no, sir, sit down.
No, fuck you in charge. You're fucking kidnapping. That's what you're doing.
Mr. Greco, I just want to.
Ms. Pinto, I think we should not reset this for May the 11th.
Yeah, I don't think we should. I lit 2 bags of trash on fire and you've kidnapped me for 7
Mr.
months.
Greco, I just need you to know that.
That's a
everything you're
misdemeanor,
saying
let
is
alone a
being
citation.
recorded, okay? All right, Judge, I'm going to ask that we just end this right now.
Yeah, so we're gonna remove this from the May 11th calendar. Mr. Rhodes can file something when he wants it reset.
Perfect. Kidnapper.
Well, yeah, I'll have him contact the court, Judge.
Best of luck to you, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take him out of here. Go on, take him back to Rice Street.
And Your Honor, for the record,
Kidnapper.
I would like the record to reflect that he did state that he lit 2 bags of trash on fire, on the record.
Everything he said's on the record.
Thank you.
And referring to me as a kidnapper. Right, so yeah, I just say take that one off. You don't think, Ms. Pinto?
Yep.
Yeah, Mr. Rose just needs to reach out, so we'll just remove that one from the calendar. I guess you'll let the firefighter know. All right, now we can bring Mr. Brown out, JB Brown. Yeah, I will. Yeah, it's obviously gonna take a second.
JB Brown, same person.
So, and then we'll get Mr. Young and then,
We'll get in contact with him. Okay.
I think that's it, Ms. Smithson's for the morning calendar.
Yes, please.
You can go ahead and raise your right hand. I can at least swear you in. You swear firm testimony about to give is the truth, sole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you want to speak up into the microphone and state your name and spell it for the court reporter.
First name is Matthew, Matthew, last name Gordon, Gordon.
All right, let's stand by once we get Mr. Brown out.
Your Honor, you bring out the best in everybody, Your Honor.
I do. I think it was Miss Watts. Maybe it was Miss Smith.
I don't know. It's usually Miss Watts who just, everybody just get excited when they see Miss Watts.
All right, maybe it was Miss Pinto, because I've never had him act like that before.
I didn't hear what you said, Judge. All I heard was my name.
Mr. McCauley said I'd bring out the best in everybody. I said, maybe it was you, because you weren't here last time and he was fine.
Oh, yeah. Well, something tells me he's not making the best decisions right now.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll just remove that from the calendar. I don't, either results aren't back or maybe something needs to be, he needs to be sent for another ex parte.
Yeah,
I appreciate you coming for Mr. Rhodes.
of course.
Yeah.
Here's Manny.
Yes.
I'm gonna step away real quick. I'm gonna go check on my mom and I'll be right back.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Anything if you got to do for your mama.
Yes, ma'am. I'm a caregiver. Thank you. Just a moment.
Okay, go ahead. Thank you, LT.
Okay. Did you do a bond hearing on him?
Mm-hmm. Last time.
Yeah, he said you lowered his bond to what did he say, $4,999.
Yeah, because it'd been 5,000. I added stuff to it, so I dropped it $1.
That's what he was.
Well, I modified it. I added conditions, so I dropped it $1.
Might need a few more conditions on there, Your Honor.
We need to sign evaluation.
The ex parte is pending.
Okay, who we waiting for? You need who? You need-
Brown, but he said you needed a second to get,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, get him back in. But I don't know if he knows about Brown yet, because y'all were back there dealing with that.
Okay. Well, that was the
I'm back, Your Honor. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right, you're JB Brown. Thank you, sir. All right, this is position 122 CP 213459. 182 days without indictment, theft by receiving stolen property. And the officer's been previously sworn. Go ahead, Mr. McCauley.
Officer Gordon, where are you currently employed?
Atlanta Police.
And
Fulton
where, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Atlanta Police, Fulton County.
And were you employed with them on October 25th, 2022?
Yes, sir.
How did you become aware of JB Brown?
I'm on our auto theft unit, so honestly, all I do all day is ride around and look for people in stolen cars or abandoned stolen cars. I was alerted to a 20, I get the exact year, 1 second. I was alerted to like a newer model Toyota Highlander. It was white in color. The tag on the back of it was Baker Robert Tom 5292, and that tag was stolen. And that tag actually came back to a Toyota Sequoia, which is still Toyota, but Sequoia is substantially bigger.
I understand. And after you received this information, what did you do?
I went to go look for the vehicle. I ended up finding it on like it's a dirt road off of
I'm so sorry to interrupt. Is there any way the officer can just like move back a little bit? I'm having a hard time hearing.
sorry about that. Got alerted to the vehicle. I went to go look for it. I ended up spotting the vehicle. I followed it for a minute just to verify again that the tag was stolen. Once I verified that, the driver pulled into a house off of Waters Road. The address was 2836 Waters Road,
What county is that in?
Fulton County. He pulled into the driveway, I turned on my blue lights. He exited the vehicle without me being told by me, and sat down on a lawn chair. He was the only person in the vehicle at the time.
And what happened next?
From there, I went ahead and just kind of explained to him, hey, this is what's going on. The tag on the back of the vehicle, something's iffy about it. I need to check it out. From there, I ran the VIN number, which is located on it's a public display VIN, which is on every vehicle. It's on the front windshield. I went and ran that VIN number and determined that the vehicle was shown stolen out of DeKalb County. After I verified that, I went back and detained Mr. Brown.
And who was the rightful owner of the vehicle?
That part. Hold on a second. I have two names are listed in the report, but I can't say which. Hold on one second. I might be able to tell you. 1
Are
second.
you a warrant writing officer?
What do
Can
you mean,
we
sir?
confirm what you're reading from?
My report, my 17.
All right, just look at it, refresh your recollection, then
Okay.
answer the question.
And are you the warrant writing officer?
Yeah, yes, sir.
If you read your warrant, will it refresh your recollection in regard to the facts?
Yes, sir.
Can I get Mr. McCauley to stand closer to a mic?
Are you the warrant writing officer?
Yes, sir.
If you reviewed your warrant, would it refresh your recollection as to the facts?
Yes, sir.
At this time, Your Honor, I ask that officer be allowed to refresh his recollection with the warrant that he did write. And Pinto, just to let you know, the warrant number is EW 0382268.
Okay.
Okay, that's what I have.
Once your recollection is refreshed, please let me know.
All right, thank you.
So you handed him a stack of papers, Ms. Pinto, so make sure you don't pull the page, turn the page, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Okay, I got you.
Okay. Who was the owner of the vehicle?
Dallas Page.
And for the record, can you please spell her name?
Yeah, could be common spelling for Dallas. David, Adam, Lincoln, Adam, Sam, and Page, Paul, Adam, Ida, George, Edward.
And was you able to get in contact with Dallas Page throughout this at any point during this investigation?
No, sir, I did not.
Was you able to determine, did Dallas Page give JB Brown permission to drive the vehicle?
No, sir, I didn't.
What was the cost of the vehicle?
Definitely over $5,000. I would say for that year, that make model easily $15,000 to $20,000.
And how do you determine the cost of a vehicle when you find it?
I always Google the car, but a lot of times if it's under, if it's like a 90s model and under, and I kind of like assess it from there. But normally any car is going to be, towards the filling amount.
And did you Google this vehicle?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And were you able to determine the possible price of it?
Yes, sir.
And that possible price was?
I mean, it ranges from, it goes by mileage, but it's over, $1,500 easily.
Thank you. And did you speak with Mr. Brown during this investigation?
Yes, sir, I did.
And And what did you learn after speaking with him?
I read him his Miranda rights and I just asked him about the car. He advised that he got the car from a lady named Brandy G. He has no way of contacting her. He doesn't know where she lives. He has no phone number, anything like that. But he says Brandy G gave him the car. That was it.
Was you able to?
And I'm sorry, also that she was a prostitute. He said that part.
Was you able to find Brandy G?
No, I had no way of contacting her, and neither did he.
Through your investigation, did anybody come and provide information in regards to Brady G?
No, sir.
Did you personally try to determine who Brady G was?
No, sir. It's common for a lot of times when people steal vehicles to change out the tag to try to conceal the identity of the vehicle. Once Mr. Brown was pulled over, he exited the vehicle, which is also common for people who are in stolen vehicles to try to distance themselves away from the vehicle itself. And with him saying that he got the vehicle from a Brandy G, but he has no way of contacting her or getting back in contact with her at all, like how would he even return the vehicle if it was, a legit, hey, yeah, you can borrow my vehicle.
Did he discuss the terms on how he was supposed to return the vehicle to Brady G?
Not to my knowledge. I don't remember that part. No, sir.
And did you pull him over or did he pull over on his own?
He definitely saw me behind him, and that's why he pulled into the driveway of that residence and tried to exit the vehicle.
And do you see JB Brown in the courtroom at this time?
Yes, sir.
Everybody can remove their masks.
And can you please describe an article of clothing that he is wearing?
Blue top shirt, white undershirt.
May the court recognize that he has positively identified JB Brown?
All right, noted.
Were you post certified during this investigation?
Yes, sir.
What was the date of the theft that was reported from DeKalb County?
September 16th of 2022.
No further questions at this time, Your Honor.
All right, Cross.
Thank you, Judge. Officer Gordon, you said you were patrolling the area?
No, ma'am. I'm on our auto theft unit, so we're kind of tasked to go out through all six zones and find stolen cars. Like we don't have a set area of where we need to be unless our supervisor says, "Hey, can you patrol in zone 1 or zone 2 for the day?" But I'm not on like an actual patrol. I'm on what's called a discretionary unit.
Okay, so you just work throughout all 6 zones looking for stolen cars?
Yes, ma'am.
And you just run plates of every car you see?
No, sometimes for me personally, like I would look at like a hot sheet of that has like listed stolen cars on it and try to identify one that I think would, stand out the most to me and maybe go set out and look for that car specifically. But we do have like flock cameras and LPRs that read tags, and I get alert to my computer for my vehicle and lets me know that it's one there. And also I have a tag reader, which is on the top of my vehicle, that vehicle actually hit my tag reader.
Okay, so the car in question hit your tag reader?
Yes, ma'am. And it does pull up I could get it to you if you need it, but it pulls up a picture of it. And it shows like which direction it was passing me, whether it was behind me or in front of me.
And the tag reader is looking specifically for stolen vehicles?
No, ma'am, I wish, but no, ma'am, it runs everything from expired tags to warrants to no insurance to stolen. It literally runs everything.
Okay, so what did it flag for you?
Stolen tag.
And forgive my ignorance, how does the tag reader know the tag is stolen?
Because it's put into like a GCIC system. So like it's the same as if I ran it, it would pop up as, red on my screen and show it's stolen. So when my tag reader hits on it, it does the same thing. It runs it and gives me alert and says either stolen tag, stolen car, on it, no insurance. But the difference between, I guess, like no insurance and expired registration is it's like the outer rim is yellow, and if it's stolen, it pops up as red, and that popped up as red.
Okay, and that alert, is that in evidence?
Say again, ma'am?
Did you preserve that alert anywhere in evidence?
No, ma'am, it's in my email.
All right, and when was that tag reported stolen?
Tag was reported stolen on October the 10th. Out of Fayette County, I believe it was. Yeah, Fayetteville, PD.
Okay, October 10th of what year?
2022. So a month after the vehicle was stolen.
Okay, and at that time, you started following the vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
How far did you follow it?
Not really sure for how long. Usually, honestly, when I get behind a stolen vehicle, I try to radio for a backup unit for other people in my unit to come assist me. And he just happened to pull into the house off of Waters Road, and there's nowhere really to go unless he decided to back up or something like that.
Okay, and you pulled into that house without you putting lights or sirens on?
Yes, ma'am. But once he pulled into the driveway, I went ahead and activated my lights.
Okay. And do you have dash cam on your vehicle?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Is that in evidence?
Yes, ma'am, evidence.com.
And at what point did you turn your dash cam on?
It either turns on two ways. Either it can either turn on for me activating my lights, or it can just turn on manually by me pressing a button. So either way it goes, it was on. I might have honestly just activated it myself, so I didn't have to, turn my lights on. But either way it goes, it's activated. And if I have to turn on my lights, it goes back 2 minutes prior to my lights being activated. I'm sorry,
Okay,
prior to, yeah.
Your lights weren't activated, right?
Say again, ma'am?
Your lights were not activated, right?
Yes, ma'am. So that's what I'm saying. So like if I activate it myself, it'll start. But if I activate it with my lights, it'll go back 2 minutes prior. So it'll catch everything 2 minutes beforehand.
All right. Do you remember when you activated it?
No, ma'am. I don't know if I activated it manually or if I just, turn my lights on and let it activate itself.
And you spoke with Mr. Brown?
Yes, ma'am.
And is that on body cam?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's in evidence?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And did he tell you he purchased the vehicle or he borrowed the vehicle from Miss Brandy?
He used to say that he got the vehicle from a female. He didn't really specify whether he borrowed or even bought the vehicle. He said he got it. He also stated that he really didn't know her that well.
The Waters Road address, do you know who resides there?
No, ma'am, I don't.
Um, okay, but you personally never spoke with the owner of the vehicle, Dallas Page?
No, ma'am, I did not.
All right, and did Mr. Brown try to run from you?
No, ma'am, but it's not normal for someone to just pull into a driveway knowing that the police are behind them, exit their vehicle, and then just go sit down in a chair. That kind of shows that, he's trying to distance himself away from the vehicle, whether he has something inside the vehicle or there's something else going on. It's not typical for a driver just to exit a vehicle for no,
All right, well,
apparent
this
reason.
chair he sat in, where was the chair?
On the front yard, like literally if you exit the passenger seat, like right there.
Okay, so right by the car.
Yes, ma'am.
And you don't know if he knows people you don't know who lives at Waters Road. You never spoke to any of the residents.
No, ma'am, I never knocked on the door. Nobody ever exited the house.
So he could have had a million reasons to stop at Waters Road that you don't know.
Objection, calls for speculation.
You want to rephrase?
Well, there's a lot of speculation that's been happening about why he stopped at Waters Road. So let me rephrase. You don't know why he stopped at Waters Road.
I believe he stopped simply because he noticed that the police were, behind him, because I followed him I'm not sure exactly for how long, but it was definitely enough amount of time for him to realize that I was, behind him.
Right. You said you believe that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I have a marked patrol car. It stands out.
Nothing further at this time, Judge.
Anything else on redirect?
I have no additional questions on redirect, Your Honor.
Anything else for this officer?
Nothing. I ask that he be allowed to leave.
All right, thank you, Officer Gordon. Stay safe.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, go over the argument.
I'll defer to the defense.
Ms. Pinto?
Judge, of course, the court knows that for a theft by receiving charge, it has to be shown that the defendant knew or should have known that the item was stolen. The officer was not able to say why Mr. Waters pulled over or stopped in this driveway, or I'm sorry, Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown told him where he got the vehicle from. Mr. Brown, he never asked Mr. Brown if he knew it was stolen or anything to show that required element of knowledge or should have known. In addition, the vehicle was reported stolen September 16th. And this incident, he was pulled over. He was found with the vehicle on October 25th. So that's a huge time frame in which any manner of things could have happened. The vehicle could have exchanged hands many times, and there's nothing to show that Mr. Brown knew that it was stolen. He stopped, he sat next to the vehicle. He didn't try to run from the officers, which is usually what they try to use to show that knowledge of something was stolen. He cooperated with the officers. He explained to them where he got the vehicle. So I would ask the court find no probable cause.
All right, Mr. McCollum?
Yes, Your Honor. The officer did not blue light the actual defendant. I think that stands out, Your Honor. He was following the defendant. He made sure that he ran the tag again. He confirmed it at that time. And prior to him even pulling the defendant over, the defendant pulled over on his own, distanced himself from the vehicle, going into a yard and sitting down at that time. When asked and tried to, during his investigation in regards to what happened with the vehicle, Your Honor, he gave a name. He did not give any contact information to allow the officer to follow up. He did not give any where the person lived, where the person stayed, but the officer can go ahead and verify the story that he did provide. The officer wasn't able to find anything on his own because the information was vague at best, and it was to try to ensure that the officer
without telling the officer that he did receive this vehicle. I ask that you find probable cause.
Anything else, Ms. Pinto?
No, Judge.
All right, I'll go ahead and find probable cause. Bond was addressed on the 14th at $3,500 good bond. Best of luck to you, sir. Thank you, Ms. Pinto.
Thank you, Judge.
And Mr. Brown, yeah, Mr. Brown, your other case has been reset till May the 9th, okay? Yes, sir. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Ms. Pinto.
And that concludes Mr. Nelson's business?
Yeah.
Or
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Rhodes?
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right, good day. All right, Justin Young.
Your Honor, can I have a quick moment to have a conversation?
Sure.
I'll be real quick.
Sure. Oh, okay, sorry. All right, this is position 22 CP 213888, 167 days without indictment. Got VGCSA, possession of methamphetamine, possession of firearm or knife during the commission of or attempt to commit certain felonies, and possession of firearm by a convicted felon. Officer, if you raise your right hand, you swear affirm testimony you're about to give is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do.
Thank you. If you state your name and spell it for us, for the Madam Court Reporter.
David Fairball, excuse me. First name common spelling, last name Foxtrot Alpha, Romeo Alpha, Bravo Alpha, Uniform Golf Hotel.
All right, go ahead, Mr. McCauley.
Good morning, sir.
Morning,
Where are you currently employed?
City of Roswell Police Department.
And were you employed with them on May 23rd, 2022?
Yes, sir.
And how did you become aware of Joseph Demon Young?
I was the on-call criminal investigation detective for that night, and I was notified by my sergeant to respond to a shooting scene at our local hotel.
And did you respond to that shooting scene?
Yes, I did.
And what did you find when you responded?
When I responded, there was numerous officers already on scene, to include some of the command staff had already been there. They had secured the crime scene. Actually, we had three rooms that were involved in the crime scene, plus most of the hotel. And I met with other detectives that were there already, and some of the officers got a preliminary investigation, let crime scene conduct their investigation at the scene to collect the evidence that was there, and I proceeded to the hospital.
And when you arrived at the hospital, what did you learn?
I met up with Mr. Young, who was at the hospital, and he had been shot in his leg.
And did you speak with Mr. Young at the hospital?
Yes, I did.
And what did you learn?
Mr. Young told me that he was at the hotel. He was criminally trespassed from the hotel a few days prior. There was some confusion over being evicted because of not paying for his room or couldn't pay for his room. He was hanging around with some friends. He got hungry, went to Crystal's, came back from Crystal's, and he was walking down the first level on the north side of the building and of the hotel at 9995 Old Dogwood Road. He heard arguing.
What county is that in, sir?
That's in Fulton County, sir.
Please go ahead.
And he heard arguing and gunfire started. He dropped his food and ran. And that's when he got shot in the leg while he was running.
And were you able to verify any of his story?
While I was there, officers and other individuals were reviewing security video at the hotel while I was doing that, and they advised me at that time that Mr. Young may be involved in the altercation, and that I was too. So I went ahead and advised him and collected up. At that time, I collected up his clothing, and he got a GSR kit from him.
And did the results of the GSR kit come back as of yet?
No, they were not submitted because Mr. Young, when they were submitted, they were returned from the GBI lab because at that time, Mr. Young was a victim and they do not do GSR on victims.
Okay. And did you review any other footage from the hotel?
Yes, I did.
And what happened? What did you see?
The whole incident started about 8 o'clock that night, 8 p.m. In room, I think it was 126. Some individuals knocked on the door and ran. A few minutes later, they came back, the same individuals came back and knocked on the door. That's when the occupant of the door came out and was talking with those individuals. Over a time period, some time had passed, other individuals came and left the group, but the normal group stayed there, the initial group stayed there. And
was Mr. Young part of this group?
No, not at this time.
Okay.
And then later on, the gentleman in room 113 had leaned his head out or allegedly came out with a gun in his hand. And the occupant of 126, they got into a verbal as to what was going on with the weapon. And that was still shortly about 9:27. They had come in, and shortly after that, Mr. Young had come into view in the camera and walked down the north side.
And is this, I understand you said room, I believe 113, is this the first floor?
It's on the first floor. 113 towards the front of the entrance to the hotel, and 126 is on the same side towards the back on the same floor on the first level.
And is it open, is the first floor open to the outside?
Yes, it opens directly to the parking lot, into the parking lot. There's cars parked right in front of the doors.
And when you first see Mr. Young, where do you see him at?
He's coming from the direction in front of the hotel, because Crystal's is across the street, just down the street about a block and across Old Holcomb Bridge Road.
And is he carrying anything?
He's carrying a bag in his one hand, in his left hand, and a drink in his right hand. He has a backpack on.
Is the video in color?
No, it is not.
Are you able to see facial features?
You can see some of the face. It depends on how close they are to the camera.
Okay. Were you able to see the facial features on Mr. Young?
No, I went, Mr. Young at the time frame was walking away from the camera that I had seen. And the other angle of the camera didn't give me that at the other end of the hotel. And Mr. Young in the camera was wearing the same clothes that I collected from him at the hospital in the video.
Okay. And so when you first see him come on the first floor, what happens next?
He walks down the first floor on the breezeway down towards the back end of the hotel where the other individuals are. He meets up with the group, sets his drink down, sets the bag down, sets his book bag down, and he and another male walk back towards room 113.
And as they're walking back towards 113, are they arguing? Are they talking? What's happening?
I don't know if they were arguing. You can tell whether there's no sound to the video. At that point, there was you can see the shots being fired with the muzzle flashes coming out as to who fired first. I don't know or who all was firing. I do not know. Mr. Young.
Hold on one second. I know you said you saw shots fired at that time.
Mhm.
So is Mr. Young and the other individual, are they walking back towards 113?
Correct. They're walking back towards the front of the hotel on the same side of the breezeway.
And do you see Mr. Young with a gun in his hand?
Not at that point, I do not.
Do you, when a muzzle flashes, do you see the gun in Mr. Young's hand?
No, I do not.
So when the shooting starts, where is Mr. Young?
He was walking down the breezeway with the other individual towards room 113.
And does the other individual have a gun in his hand?
Yes, he has two.
He has two guns. And after you see, and he's shooting towards which direction?
The people walking towards the room I could not see. You could see the muzzle flash from the person inside the room. 113 stepped out and fired. That's what he fired first. I do not know. I could not tell based on the distance on the camera.
And after the initial, after you saw the flashes with the firearms, what happened next?
You can see on the video, Mr. Young and this other individual who they claimed his street name was Chicago. They start running, and so does everybody else that's back in the group. Start running towards the breezeway in the hotel, which separates one side from the other side. They started running in that direction towards the other side of the hotel.
Okay. And as they're running, do they stop in the breezeway?
No, they do not.
Where did Mr. Young go?
They can, according to witnesses that were there, he continued on to room 246, which is on the second level behind the pole on the southeastern side of the building.
And when he is in room 246, is that when the officers arrived?
They arrived, the officers arrived when they heard the shots firing. They'd wait a patrol right across the street in a building complex and heard the shots, and he was right across the street. So he was right there on the spot when the shots fired. Mr. Young was, when officers found Mr. Young, he was in the stairwell on between levels, laying on the ground. That's where they put the tourniquet on his leg.
And after the tourniquet is put on his leg, does he still have the book bag on his back at that time?
No, the book bag is laying on the ground, still on the other side. And I watched the video for the entire time till the officer was placed on that side to secure that whole breezeway. And no one had touched the bag.
Did the book bag have any distinctive coloring markings that made it stand out?
I do not recall. And it was just a black, dark colored backpack.
And did you all search the backpack?
We did not at that time. We did. We collected. It was collected by crime scene, take it back, and placed in evidence.
And did you all ever open the backpack?
Yes, I did.
And what did you find inside?
Myself and Detective Kowalski, who was the individual that collected the bag, we opened the bag to check and the contents of the bag. Because Mr. Young had called and wanted his personal property back, so we wanted to see what was in there, if anything we need to have. And inside there, we found 3 bags containing various substances that we suspected to be illegal narcotics, because that area is known for drug transactions and drug activity.
And you have one warrant for possession of methamphetamine?
Yes.
And what was the basis for that warrant?
We field tested the articles, the 3 bags of substance that we found inside the bag. One field tested positive for methamphetamine, and it was sent off to the GBI crime lab. The crime lab report came back on the 15th September, confirming that it was methamphetamine.
And you have a warrant for possession of firearm during a commission or attempt to commit certain felonies. What was the basis for that warrant?
Reviewing the video, when Mr. Young was running away in the breezeway between from the one side to the other side, it appeared he had a gun in his hand, in his right hand, as he was running. And 2 witnesses had stated that Mr. Young had a weapon.
And in the video, are you able to see a weapon in his hand?
You can make out like a image of one. You can make out what kind of weapon it is.
Okay. Can you see is it a rifle?
No, it's not. It's a handgun.
And with the handgun, can you see his hand wrapped around the handgun?
As he's running.
You have a warrant for possession of firearm by a convicted felon. What was the basis for that warrant?
When I did an NCIC check on GCIC check on Mr. Young, he was convicted of a felony in DeKalb County in November 2014.
And what was he convicted of?
That I don't recollect that one. I do not recall that one.
Are you the warrant writing officer?
Yes, I am.
If I provided you the warrant, would it refresh your recollection?
Okay.
1 second, Your Honor.
Sure.
Once your recollection is refreshed, please let me know.
Okay.
You have a warrant for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. What was the basis for that warrant?
The felony offense was in November 2014, and the offense was theft by receiving stolen property in DeKalb County.
Thank you. Do you see Justin Young in the courtroom at this time?
Everybody can remove their mask.
Yes.
Can you please describe an article of clothing that he is wearing?
It's either black or dark blue outer shirt with a white t-shirt underneath it.
May the court recognize he has positively identified the defendant?
All right, noted.
No further questions at this time, Your Honor.
Ms. Smith.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Have you watched all of the surveillance footage taken from the scene of the location, incident location?
Yes, what I got from the hotel, yes, ma'am.
And how many times did Mr. Young appear in the footage?
I saw him in when he came in, and then when he was running after the incident, after he got shot.
Okay, so a total of 2 times.
Yes, ma'am.
So when he was running away, you mentioned that it appeared that he had a firearm. How exactly were you able to make out that the object in his right hand was an actual firearm?
Stopped the video and did a still image. It appeared to be an image of a weapon in his right hand. And two witnesses stated he had a weapon.
Okay, and who were the 2 witnesses that stated that?
Adrian Carter and Felicia Jones.
And did you speak to Adrian Carter and Felicia Jones?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and when did you speak to Ms. Carter?
I spoke to them a couple times each. I have to go back through and look at the exact dates.
And when you spoke to Ms. Carter, was this conversation recorded?
Yes, it was.
Via body cam?
Yes.
And was that conversation recording, was that preserved as evidence?
It's in our system for body cams, yes.
And what about Ms. Jones? Was that conversation recorded
Yes.
via body cam as well?
Yes.
In your system?
There were other detectives and other officers that spoke to Ms. Jones also.
Okay, and do you have the names of the detectives or officers that spoke to Ms.
I
Jones?
know the detectives, Detective Sergeant Paul Reed and Detective Melissa Soroka.
The second detective, my apologies, can you spell their name?
Reed is Romeo Echo India Delta, and Soroka is Sierra Romeo Oscar Kilo Alpha.
And when you spoke to Ms. Carter, you stated that you actually spoke to her multiple times. Between the first time that you spoke to her and the second time that you spoke to her, did her story change?
Yes, it did.
Okay, and how did her story change?
It changed as to what she did during the incident. Okay,
and what did she do during the incident?
Whenever I initially talked to her, she told me that she went and got Mr. Chicago from her room. And based on the video, she did not. She walked, she never went near her room during the incident. She walked out of view of the camera and came back into view with Mr. Chicago.
Okay. Did Ms. Carter say how she knew that Mr. Young had a weapon in his possession?
Because she was there the whole entire time and saw it.
Okay, and when you say she was there, was she in the room? Was she?
No, her room was 120, 126. That's where the knocking on the door started. That was Miss Carter's room. So she was outside in the breezeway the entire incident.
And when she stated that she saw the entire incident and that Mr. Young had a firearm, was this during the first conversation or the second conversation?
First conversation, ma'am.
One moment, Your Honor.
Okay.
Okay, and when you spoke to Miss Jones, when did she state that she saw Mr. Young with the firearm?
She told Detective Reed and Detective Soroka that night that what happened because they allegedly ran to her room. We found trail of blood leading to her room. And she's in room 246 on the southeastern side of the hotel. And when the officers got there, they found an empty holster laying on the bed, and she claimed it wasn't hers. And she said it belonged to Mr. Young and his girlfriend.
Have you read the affidavit?
For what, ma'am?
For the affidavit for affidavit warrant for Mr. Young?
I read it. I wrote it, ma'am.
Okay. And so in the warrant, what page is this? 1, 2. The second page, all the way down to the all the way down to the 11th paragraph. Are you looking at the warrant right now?
And Your Honor, respectfully, I would ask that she point out. It's a
You just
long
point it to her.
report.
Okay. May I approach?
Sure.
This one? Or this one?
This
The 31st, on the interview on the 26th.
Yes.
Okay.
Your Honor, at this time, I request that the officer be allowed to refresh his recollection. It's probably been a while since he actually wrote this and read it
Okay,
before.
sure. Take a look at it.
Is that?
And actually, Your Honor, may I approach again because there's also another paragraph that I would like for the officer to look at.
Absolutely.
Okay, weapon. Okay, this one, so this one and this one, according to Jones. Okay.
Which ones are you specifically?
This one. This one. This is on the second page.
Gotcha. Got it.
And when you are done, refresh your recollection. Can you look up?
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Okay, so during the first interview, Ms. Jones, she stated multiple times that she was sure the holster was empty and that at no time did she see Young with a weapon.
Objection. Your Honor, there's no question here, Your Honor.
Is there a question?
Yes, I was getting to that question, Your Honor. The officer stated that Ms. Jones, she identified Mr. Young as having a weapon during her interview. I'm asking whether or not she stated if Mr. Young indeed had a weapon or he did not have a weapon in the affidavit.
This one, no, I don't know because that was when Detective Soroka and Detective Reed interviewed her. You can see it says that Roca spoke to Felicia Jones that night on the 23rd. That was what she got from her interview.
Okay, and so during the second, that was the first interview, correct?
Correct.
Okay. However, earlier you stated that in her first interview, she did state that Mr. Young had a weapon.
He had the holster and he came in the room with a weapon, but we never found a weapon. We found weapons, but nothing linked to Mr. Young.
Okay.
Okay.
And so in the second interview, that was on May 26th,
Yes.
2022?
Yes.
And during that second interview, Ms. Jones also did not state, and it's not here in that, if you look at the affidavit, she did not state that she saw Mr. Young with a weapon.
Right. She stated that she was adamant she did not observe a weapon. That he tossed the empty holster.
Okay, so if we could just back up, because I'm a little confused, because.
Yes, I was too.
Because you stated earlier that Ms. Jones said that Mr. Young had a weapon in the first interview.
Okay. They came in the room with a weapon, him and his girlfriend, Jasmine.
So Ms. Jones stated that in the first interview.
Yes.
Okay. In the first interview in the affidavit of the warrant, it states that Ms. Jones did not see Mr. Young with a firearm.
Okay.
Correct?
That's what it states, yes.
Okay. In the second interview, it also states that Ms. Jones did not see Mr. Young with a firearm.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. Okay, and then just to clarify again, you did not actually retrieve any firearms belonging to Mr. Young?
No, we could not link any of the firearms to Mr. Young, no.
Okay, and how many firearms did you find?
I believe they recovered 2 out of that room, 246.
Okay, and did you test those for prints?
Yes, there were no prints on the weapons.
Okay. And you also cannot make out make or model of the weapon that appeared in the surveillance video?
No, ma'am.
Okay, no further questions, Your Honor.
Redirect, Your Honor, may I? Did you interview Felicia Jones personally
Yes, on the 31st.
on the 31st? And what did you learn during your interview with Ms. Jones?
That she was not telling the truth.
And what did she tell you?
She said that she had no idea what was going on in the shooting. She was not present at the shooting. She was just sitting in her room when Mr. Young and the girl he was with, allegedly, my name is Jasmine is all we know, entered her room and saying he was shot.
Okay. And were you ever, I know she changed her story. When did she tell you that she saw him with the gun?
I was informed tonight that they saw it with the gun, him with the gun. That's why they told me to do the GSR at the hospital.
All right. And did you speak to Adrian Carter?
Yes, I did.
And during your interview with Adrian Carter, did she say that Mr. Young had a gun?
Yes, she did. She approached us as soon as we finished interviewing Ms. Jones. She approached myself and Detective Soroka in the parking lot.
And what did she tell you?
She told us the story of what happened. Then I gave her a version of the story of what happened that night and said that that Mr. Young in Chicago had walked down with weapons towards the other room, 113, who was occupied by an individual by the name of Mr. Mape. And shots started going off, and they had ran from that area.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Anything else on cross?
No further questions, Your Honor.
Anything else for this officer?
Nothing for this officer. I ask that he be allowed to leave, Your Honor.
Yeah, thank you, Detective. Stay safe. All right, go ahead with the argument.
Your Honor, we are requesting a dismissal for counts 2 and 3 for lack of probable cause. Mr. Young is being accused of being in possession of a firearm while being a convicted felon. However, we have heard conflicted stories today. No firearms were actually found on Mr. Young. No firearms were found within Mr. Young's reach. None of the firearms that were found were able to be positively identified. Mr. Young, in multiple surveillance footage, it didn't appear that Mr. Young had a weapon, and the only footage where it appeared that he may have had a weapon, we don't know what type of weapon this actually was, make or model of this weapon. We do know that there were two people who did have a weapon that were identified in the video. And those two people who had weapons and were a part of the shooting, they did not include Mr. Young. And we've also heard the conflicted stories by both about Miss Carter and Miss Jones, saying that he had a gun, he didn't have a gun. So we're requesting dismissal for both of those charges.
All right. What says the state?
Yes, Your Honor. In regards to the officer testimony, number one, he said he was able to do a still shot and he was able to determine that it was a handgun in Mr. Jones' hand. But more importantly, Miss Carter talked to officers that night. Her story didn't change. She informed them of what happened. She informed them of what she saw. And the officer was able to corroborate Miss Carter's story with what he was able to see on the actual video surveillance, Your Honor. He was able to go ahead and see that he did have a black bag on. Inside of that black bag was drugs. Those drugs were tested and they did come back positive, Your Honor. He was able to go ahead and do a background check on Mr. Young. And through that background check, he was able to determine that he did have a criminal history that did include a conviction for a felony. And Your Honor, I ask that you find probable cause with the basis for the witness testimony, the witness, Adrian Carter, confirming what the officers saw on the video of the defendant with a gun in his hand.
Anything else, Ms. Smith?
I would just like to highlight the fact that the officer stated that Miss Carter indeed changed her story between the first time that he spoke to her and the second time. She did not have the same story when she first spoke to the officers.
All right. All right. I'll find probable cause on all three counts. We can address bond if you'd like, because it was March 13th. There's a $13,000 good bond.
I'm here, Judge, sorry.
Okay.
Looks like the defendant has 6 arrest cycles, 1 felony conviction for theft by receiving stolen property out of DeKalb County. Disposition date on that is November 2014. He has 2 violations of probation and 1 FTA. Nothing to add, Your Honor.
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Smith.
Mr. Young is 27 years old, I'm sorry. He's from Atlanta. His family does live here. Currently, at the moment, he is residentially challenged. His family, they lost their home while he was in custody. He was staying with his mom and his siblings. And his youngest child actually lived with him as well. So she's currently in the care of his mom. I believe they're still living in a hotel. He graduated from Redan High School, and he also attended Colorado Tech University in 2021 to pursue his business administration degree. Mr. Young wants to start his own family line in tow trucking service. Prior to his arrest, he was working at Chili's in Alpharetta for about 2 months. His mother currently has health issues she is suffering from. She suffers from a sleeping disorder and she does have seizures. She has been hospitalized while Mr. Young has been in custody. And so she hasn't been able to fully actually take care of his daughter. So we are requesting, I know right now he has the $13,000 bond, but we are requesting for his bond to be reduced significantly, not to exceed $5,000 in this case, so that he will be able to get out and help his family and take care of his child.
Mr. McCauley?
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to emphasize that the fact that he have already been a convicted felon, Your Honor. We have to see that this situation happened at a public hotel, Your Honor. It's in an open area, Your Honor, and he may not have started the shooting, but he responded by pulling out a firearm, Your Honor. He actually may have been part of the shooting also, Your Honor. So I would be concerned for the public safety, also public property, and that is concerns. The state at this time would object to any lowering of the bond. I think it is sufficient as to where it is as of right now to ensure that the defendant will return and face the actual charges before the court at this time.
All right, Ms. Miller, I'm just going off my former bond order. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. You can have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, medical, and also to meet with your lawyer. Also, employment, as long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment, schedule, and the exact location you're going to be working. Just a hint, sir, the DA's office gets a monthly report of your ankle monitor where you go. So, don't get a job and then quit it and say you're still working, all right? Stay away from all economy hotels. And before, I think you lived in Fulton County, so stay away from 9995 Old Dogwood Road. Stay out of Fulton County unless you're here for court or to see your lawyer. No further contact with Felicia Jones, Jasmine Jones, and Adrian Carter. So I do 500, 5,000, 5,000. Best of luck to you, sir. Man, I think that's it for the morning calendar, right?
I believe so, Your Honor.
Let's see. Reset. Go. John. Reset. Barber. Blanks. Ripple. Let's see. All right, I think that's it, Ms. Smith, all right?
Yes, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Yeah, see you at 1 o'clock. Thank you, Ms. Gandy. Thank you, Ms. Miller. See y'all at 1.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.